Hey, it's been a while since we posted on here, about 6 months since we posted on the channel. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I come with a video that'll explain where I've been per se, and also we'll share some thoughts about a topic that I went through and something that I think would be very valuable to others in the same position. And it's already a very niche position. I mean, not many people always go through this exact same process. It's more common to graduate than to not, or at least like a lot of people fail, of course. But I mean, to quit or to see it through, it's a lot more common to see it through than to quit. So my thoughts here are very niche, but I think they're still going to be very valuable for the people who are in this same position. It's something I wish I could have said a bit ago. So something I wish I had that I could have seen that would have guided me along the right course. And along the way, we'll explain where I've been. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Why Jake almost dropped out of high school, or why he partly did. Because I'm going to be honest, I partly did. I actually, in my current state right now, my current position is that I've dropped out of all but one class. All but one. But right now, I don't have it, so I'm kind of on a bit of a break right now, which is very nice. I like this break. So right now, I'm on a break, but I'm going into a class within about a month and a half. And that'll be my only class. That's the last class. That's the last thing I need. And so the main thing is, why? Why would you drop out of high school? Why would you almost? Why would you partly drop out? So I'm going to start from the beginning. So it was a while back, because I've been busy. Ever since grade 12 has started here, I've been busy. And I'm in the hardest classes. Like, I'm at the max. I'm trying to do the best that I can with everything, right? And that's kind of why I've been away. That's why I've been away, because I've been focusing a lot on school and some other creative efforts that have been drawing me more per se. But with that being said, I'm about halfway done the school year as it is. And so far what I've done is almost nothing. Now you might be looking at me like, how? How's that even possible? Well, I'm going to tell you. So I did a design studies class in my first quarter and math 30-1. Now, my teacher wasn't very good, and she wasn't very recommended, per se. A lot of other people had problems with her. And so I left that class. That technically, I didn't finish that. But I got into it the next quarter. And so the next quarter, I did math 30-1 and English 30-1. And here's where I really had to bunker down, and here's where it kind of all began for me. Math 30-1 is one of the hardest classes on the planet that you can, there's a lot that's harder than Math 30-1. But when it comes to high school, I'd say Math 30-1 is about as hard as it's going to get. That is difficult. That is a whole different thing. So, and that was paired with English 30-1. And I actually, mind I say, I don't know if the 30-1 is or any of that is a universal term. So I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense, but that's just the hardest that it gets. So I got into that for the next quarter, and that's when I really had to bunker down. So I spent those couple months, that would have been kind of like November to January-ish. I spent those couple months doing just that. Like, I was dedicated. At the time, I was really, I really had a vision in mind that I was going to maybe be an architect or an engineer. And the thing that I was doing was kind of using Math 30-1 as a way to gauge it, as a way to see exactly what was going on there. Like, am I made for this? And I don't think I am. I finished Math 30-1 to a degree. I haven't done the diploma exam, nor English. I still have to do the diploma exams, but the classes are done. So I got like an 80 in English. That was fine. But I got like a 56 in math. And, you know, I've always been pretty good with math. I mean, I got, I think, 86 on grade 10's math, 83 on grade 11, and then there's 56 on grade 12. So as you can see, Math 30-1 takes it up a notch. It takes it up quite a bit. It's hard. It's very hard. But I took the time. I gave it my absolute best. I'm not going to lie to you. I gave it my absolute best. The hours of studying, everything. I gave it my absolute best. And I just can't say I'm cut out for that. You know, like I can't say I'm cut out for that kind of thing where it involves that level of math or that level of dedication. You know, like I would have even made this video sooner. Had I gone through the process with a little bit more time, I would have probably made a video explaining it a little bit while I was still in the class. Because honestly, I really wanted to talk about this for a while. I really wanted to tell you guys about what I've learned from it, because it's not like, oh, Jake just learned math. Like it's actually way more valuable than that. I learned a lot more from that class than just math. What it really taught me was who I want to be. And so I took some time off to think about that after the class was done. I took some time to think about it, and I came to the conclusion that I can't see myself going into that kind of stuff. You know, I can't see myself going there for engineering, architect. Like I can't do that. It's cool, and I like that. Like it's really fun, but you got to remember, if you're gonna hate every single second of your journey, you're gonna hate the destination. You're going to hate it. Or, well, you never know. Maybe you'll like it. I mean, there's one thing to be said. If you go through a very painful journey for $1 billion, you know, maybe that's worth it. But at the same time, this isn't that. This is a career. We're talking about a career. So the idea is, if you're going to go to school for about 6 or 8 years, because like these are hard things, engineering and architecture, you have to be very well versed in everything regarding them. You have to be very knowledgeable, and you have to be like it's not one of those things where you can have a little bit of leeway. You have to be, because if you mess something up, a building will be formed out of your blueprint, and if there's a mess up, one day it could fall and kill people. One day it could fall and it could destroy things, priceless value. I mean, there's another thing to be said, that it'll just be destroyed, and then all that work went to nothing. Like, you need to be very precise. You need to be the best. And, you know, even then, I went into a diploma preparation call that my school offered, and there were people in there my age. Been to this class 3 times. 3 times already? Furthermore, some of them had 90s. Like, I even saw a girl who had 94, and she was asking, how can I get to 100? Because I'm worried I won't get into my university. And I was shook. Where are you going? Like, the 6 points is not really going to matter that much, is it? Now, the guy in the call, the teacher, he said that won't really matter too much. He also said that it wasn't possible. Yeah, he said it wasn't possible, and she was, like, concerned about it for a second. And then he said, it doesn't matter. Calm down. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you maintain. Like, the highest she could get was a 97 if she got 100% in everything following that point, because we still had a couple things to do. So she couldn't have gotten 100, but 97. And even then, it doesn't really matter that much. But it's just to think for a second. I'm up against that lady. I'm up against her and a bunch of people like her. So I'm here with my 56, trying to get into the colleges or the universities that they're getting into. How? And so that's when it really came to me. That's when it really dawned on me that if I'm not going to enjoy this and I'm not willing to put in that much effort, I'm not meant for this. I'm not meant for that. And so I reevaluated, and it really came down to, like before that, it even came down to like, I'll either go to university for engineering or architecture or trade school for a certain few trades that I had in mind. And so then it really became a question of which trade do I want to do. And after doing some thinking about it and just trying with my thoughts, you know, just because I don't know anything about, well, that's the thing. We don't know anything about these careers. Like at my stage, we don't know nothing. And like if you're in the same stage, you and I, we know nothing because we haven't been there. You know, I don't know what it's like to be an engineer. I don't know what it's like to be an architect. I don't know what it's like to be a tradesman. I have no clue. and you don't either if you're in the same position. So in that case, I was really just thinking, I don't know anything about these, but which one draws me the best? Eventually, after thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that I wanted to try cabinet making. And that's not, like, if you don't know what that is, cabinet making is more of like a finer woods craft per se. It's not like wood carving. I mean, there is wood carving aspects, I guess you'd say, but the main idea is furniture and like cabinets. I mean, it's called cabinet making, right? So you like there's cabinets over here. That's why I'm looking over there. But you install the cabinets, and like it's a precise process. Like my dad, my uncles, like they know people who have done this. They know the work. They know how it goes, and it's a precise process. It's not like a process that needs the highest level of math, like math 30-1, but what was it, 10-1? I think 10-1 is like the lowest. That's like grade 10. 10-1, that's fine. That's like the recommended, or no, that's the minimum. The recommended is 20-1, which is grade 11's math. And so it's better if you have more. But technically, if you hit 16 years old and you get math 10-1, you have the minimum requirements to get into cabinet making. And also English 10-1. But like you need English for every single trade, and pretty much everything actually. You need English for everything. But the bare minimum requirements are literally attainable within the first year of high school. And even then, the average high school student would kind of line up with that in time, because you turn 16, like on average we mostly turn 16 around the end of grade 11. So around the end of grade 10, start of grade 11. So once you hit 16, you're basically good to go, and you should be perfectly lined up. Now, I didn't know that at the time, and I probably still wouldn't have done it. I still wouldn't have gone to trade school at the age of 16 and signed up for all that. I still wouldn't have done it. But the idea is still that there's not too much there. There's not too many requirements. And so I got accepted, and I paid all the stuff. I'm due for September 2nd, I believe it is. Or maybe it's the 5th. I have to check that. I mean, it's not the end of the world. That's half a year away. 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6 months away. So we're all good for now. But the idea is I've got somewhere to be now, and I have all the requirements. I have above average for the requirements actually. So really, I'm in a great spot, and that's when it hit me that I could leave. It's funny because I never would have thought about this. Like, I've always been very hard on it. Like, I have to do this. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the first in the family to graduate. Is like that's how that is actually. I'm going to be the first in the family to graduate. It's a very fortunate thing that I've been given here. I have an opportunity that not many in my family have had. This is a very good thing to have. And I mean, there's one thing, like, before you look at me and say, like, oh, so you're just an asshole, just hear me out. So it was hard for me to think about it, but I had the option of leaving, because now I'm in college. Like, I'm fine. I'm in trade school. I'm fine. I can leave. And the thing is like, what would I be leaving for something worth it? Because here's the way you got to think of it, at least from my perspective. I can't just leave for nothing. I can't just leave for nothing. The option's there, but why would I leave for nothing? Why would I leave for nothing? So pretty quickly, I listed off all the things that I would be able to do in this time, and I have a lot of stuff that I really want to do. Things that I could do. Things that like even my family supported me in this. That's something too. Is I told them about this plan. I said, I might drop out here and focus on these other things, and they were fine with it. So it's not like I'm an asshole. Don't look at me that way. I had a plan that I presented to my closest family, my closest friends, and everyone supported me. Some of my friends even said, it just looks like you're staying in high school for fun now. So, like, what are you doing? Not that that was the case, but, it's to say that if you have a good plan, then, why not? So, with that said, I was actually pretty dead set on leaving. I had this plan that I was going to leave and I was going to take it off till September, and I was going to learn, or well, I already know a few my instruments. I know my instruments, but I wanted to master them. I wanted to prepare for busking actually, because I wanted to do some busking with my brother. So I was just going to do that. Guitar, I do guitar, harp, and violin, and I'm learning piano. That's not going well. And I'm learning harp too, in part. But I wanted to practice those so I could busk. And then I'm also writing. I want to finish writing all the stuff that I'm writing. I have a lot of stuff that's going on there that I'd prefer to give dedicated time, because it takes a lot out of me to write. You have to really, really think about it. You have to really put your mind to it. And if you break out of it for a little, it takes a little energy to get back in. So I was really, I was actually kind of drawn to this idea. I could leave and I could learn all these things on my instruments. I could write so much stuff. I recently actually even got let me whip it out. I moved my computer setup upstairs, and now I've got this drawing pad here. So I got a trial version of Clip Studio Paint, if you know what that is. And now I've been testing out my art on digital formats per se. I don't do, I've done art for many years, but it's I've never taken it too seriously. But I have a few endeavors I want to pursue with it. So my ideas were pretty solid. I'm gonna do instruments. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna draw. It's pretty good. That's packed. And I'd say if you have something like that, that's good. That's pretty good. You have a good reason to be dropping out, because those are creative things that you can pursue. As long as you can only ever do this. Let me preface everything in this video by saying that you can only gain my blessing, and hopefully everyone else that your family and friends. You can only ever gain blessings if you have a proper plan. I was going to college. I'm going to college. I'm in trade school. That's locked in for September. That's happening. So with that in mind, I have a plan. It's really, what do we do up until then? What's going to go on until then? What do I want to do then? And so if you don't have a plan, don't be here for this. You're not dropping out. Don't do that. Don't drop out with no plan. It's the same thing as when people leave their job to pursue their side hustle, even though it's not making any money yet. Don't. When it makes good enough money that you can decently live off it at least, yeah, pursue that, because then you can really get something out of it. But if you leave your job for a side hustle that doesn't make you enough money, but you're I'm pretty sure I can make it work, and then you find out later on that it doesn't work, and now you don't have a job, and actually you're in debt, and you don't have any money, you know how bad that's going to get? So this is no different. Don't be a high school dropout if you're not going to have a plan. Anyway, as I was saying, my plan was solid. I'm in college, and now I just got to do what I want to. Now I just got to figure out what I want to do, because I'm about to be a man, right? My birthday's coming up soon. I'm about to be 18. So that's another thing dawning on me is what do I want to do? What kind of man do I want to be before that time? What do I even want to be in the future? It doesn't matter before college. It's just what do I want to have before I'm a fully functional citizen? Who do I want to be? And if I took this time off, what could I do for it? Or what could I do to progress that? So that's what I came up with. Pretty solid plan. I was dedicated to dropping out. But I spoke to my guidance counselor at the school. I shared the plan with him. And fortunately, he actually told me I just need one more class to get the diploma. Now, I didn't know that. I thought that I had to do a lot more. I thought I had to do a lot higher classes and get higher marks. I I remember reading somewhere that the diploma requirements needed you to have like 80% in some of your classes, and Math 30-1 was one of those classes for me. So I had 56. So I gave up on the diploma pretty quick. But like, not that I like gave up. Remember, I gave this my absolute best. You know, if I recorded this, you'd see. I gave it hours every day. It was a full-time job, and it was a new lesson every day. It feels like there's number trauma for me. It's like I can't trust, like, what's 6 plus 9? Let me whip out the calculator. What's 2 divided by 2? I have hard times now. Not seriously, but it's just to say that it feels traumatic in a sense, but it's not. But you know what I mean? It's just like that. That was a lot. That was a lot, and I gave it my absolute best. But at the end of the day, that wasn't enough. And so I thought the diploma was lost. I thought I couldn't get this. I thought this was over. I thought nothing was going to save it. Apparently that was outdated though, and no, I'm fine. As long as I pass Math 30-1, I'm all good. And as I said, I still have the diploma exam, so I still have to go do that. But that's not the end of the world. Like, I'm going to do it in April here, and then if I fail that, like, I actually, funny thing, he told me I could get like a 45 bare minimum, and that should still pass me. So I could actually fail the diploma. Passing mark's 50. I could fail the diploma and still pass the class. Albeit we don't want that, but, you know, there's wiggle room. So I just have to do the diploma, and then whatever the case may be, if I need to do it again, I'll do it again. Get a tutor if I need to. Whatever the case needs to be, I just need to pass the class. Pass this one, English 30-1, and then social. Well, I'm in science right now, or was in science at this moment for this quarter. He said you could do social or you could do science, and I don't really like. It's a funny thing. When I got the news that I was accepted into my college a few weeks back, I took a bit of time off to think about it, and so I missed out on a lot of things in science class, and it's going to be hard to recover. So I'm leaving science class and I'm doing social instead, which was going to happen anyway. But he actually told me that you could do the easier version of social and still get the diploma. So, you know, why not? Because I don't see myself going anywhere with social 30-1's credentials. You know, like, I don't see that going anywhere. So why not? You know, make it easier. Because the main thing out of all this is I still want time to do the other things that I was telling you about. The art, the music, the writing. I still want the time for that. So at the end of the day, it would be preferable to have the most that I could, but also still get a high school diploma at maximum level, right? So knock it down to 30-2, which is like the second level, and they say it's much easier. It's much easier. So, you know, might as well. But in all, the main point here is I went through a unique case, to say the least, at least from my perspective, because it really took a lot of thinking and talking to everyone that I knew, like searching online as much as I could. Like I gave this a lot of thought, and but before I came to the conclusion of I want to drop out entirely. That's what I took that's what I took the break for when I got accepted, is like, all right, what do I want to do now? And it took a lot, to be honest. You know, it was a unique case to Google, because a lot of people do say that dropping out is beneficial, and a lot of people also say that dropping out is bad, but none of them had the same situation as me, you know? A lot of people that I saw online were talking about dropping out of high school to pursue things that that they wanted to do that weren't the same as me. Like it wasn't college. Like they didn't have a college thing going on. They didn't have any of that. Like some of them were already like big YouTubers by that time. It's like if you're a big YouTuber with millions of subscribers, then that's also a good reason, right? But I'm not one of those guys. So it was actually surprisingly hard to find people who had the same case as me, where they got accepted into college early, and it was like, should I stay? I could stay and get the diploma, or I could kind of live it out and just relax before I get to college. That's a unique case. And like there were a few people, of course, but opinions differ. And a lot of people that I found in similar cases said to stay in high school. But part of my issue too was I didn't know how to recover it at the time, because as I told you, I thought that Math 30-1 needed to be like 80% or above to get the diploma. Not that I just had to pass. Fortunately, that's the case, right? But I didn't know that at the time, so I thought, like I would stay in school for this, but it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot to get that diploma. And honestly, if that's the case, like in your case even, like I don't know how diplomas work everywhere, right? But if it's going to take a lot, unlike me who has one more class, and mind I say, 3 smaller 5-minute courses that are single credit courses, which they literally, like I could have them done right now. So like I don't have much. I have 1 class and 3 single credit courses. So in that case, if it's going to take you a lot to get around to your diploma, but you have a plan, you have a place to go, like college in September for me, and you have an idea of how you're going to spend your time, like a good idea. You're not playing video games all day. I swear to God, if I was going to, like, imagine that. Dropping out to play video games all day. I'm already in online school. Imagine that. It's shameful enough as it is. Depends. Online school's still hard, at least my structure. But the point still stands. Like you're not dropping out to play video games. So if you have a good plan, and it's going to take a lot to get that diploma, and you don't necessarily need it, why not? That's my thinking, at least. It has to be good plans, though, because don't get me wrong, diplomas are going to be beneficial no matter what. Of course, it wasn't essential. It wasn't an essential requirement for me to get into college, but it's a beneficial thing on your reputation anyway. When you hand your resume, people are going to want to look for that. At least sometimes. Like I even spoke to my dad and my uncles about it, and They said that in the trades especially, it doesn't always matter that much. Not as much as university, but it still matters a little. But it's not too much. They said that you'd be fine, and like if you're gonna do all these other things, then yeah, because that's gonna make that's gonna do a lot more for you personally, and that's the thing, right? If you're in a position where the diploma's not gonna benefit you directly that much, then go do the personal things that will directly benefit you. Those things that will do a lot more for you. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, like the writing, the instruments, the drawing, like that it in itself has benefited. That has done 10 times what a lot of these courses have done for me. At least within personal enjoyment. I mean, there's another thing to be said that those courses, like, it doesn't matter. Like they're not really like a material value. They're more like a ticket in a sense. But they're still valuable. But it's just when I look back at it, it's just funny because I had the minimum requirements to get into my trade when I was 16 years old. So it's hard to say that those courses benefited me. But they really did. I mean, I will say this. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't go through all this. So I'm grateful. And I love what happened. This brought me to this moment. That's the best thing that could have happened. This is what God intended. At least that's what I believe. That doesn't need to be what you believe. But the way I believe it is God intended this for me, and that's the best thing that could happen. And so they benefited me, but it's just to say that you know what I mean. If I was writing when I was 16, let's say, if I even went to trade school when I was 16, let's say, then I'd have 2 years in the trades out of the 4 that are required. I would have been halfway done by now. Now, that's not always, like, that's not to say that I'd be in a better spot, but it's just to say that, if the classes aren't and the diplomas aren't benefiting you directly and you have a very good plan, you have my blessing, at least. Mine. Now, don't take internet stranger Jake's word for it. You don't know me and I don't know you. But just take it from a guy in a similar situation, per se, and you have my support. But go talk to your family about it first and your friends, because don't be that guy who's going to drop out and break your mom's heart, because that's something too. Is look back in my case. I'm going to be the first person to graduate in my family with the diploma. So that means a lot to my family. That means a lot. So what kind of man would I be to drop out and waste such an opportunity? Not that, no, I wasn't wasting it, but because I got all their blessings, I had a good plan. But let's say that I didn't have their blessing. Let's say I didn't get their permission. Let's say they didn't want me to do this. What kind of man would I be to leave high school like that when I could? That's the least I could owe to my parents. It's just the fact that I could complete this. Sure, it is my life, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do because it's my life. But at least morally speaking, if my mom said, I don't want you to do this, I feel like this is an insult because of all the stuff we built you for, then yeah, I'd instantly have shut up, because no. My parents have given their lives to raising me this way. And if they didn't think this was the right move, it's not the right move. At least morally speaking. Maybe it still would have been more materially successful had I left anyway without their blessing. But what kind of man would that make me? And especially what would I think for my kids? If I wanted my kids to finish, if I didn't believe in their plan, if my kid came up to me with a plan of his own or her own, like whatever the case, they came up to me and they showed me their plan, and it was all right, but not good enough. Would I give them the blessing? No. It would have to be a really good plan. Luckily, my plan was good enough that my parents gave me their blessing, and I was basically all good to go. Same with my friends, same with my other family. Everyone was good with me doing this. But any less, and they probably wouldn't have been. So you really got to talk to your family about it. You can't, and your friends. You can't just do it. You can. You can do whatever you want, like when you're 18. Actually, thing is, I still have to get my mom to email the school to say, this is what we want to do, because I'm not 18. So I still have to go through my mom to get to the school to confirm things. But, the point is, if you're 18, you can still do whatever you want, but what kind of person are you going to be? You really got to think about that. At the end of the day, who are you going to be? You're going to be that guy, breaks your parents' heart? Because that's the main thing I saw online, is it's taxing on a parent when their kid leaves high school. Or at least with no plan. Yet again, I had a plan. But a lot of kids leave high school or fail it, and they don't have a plan. It's they just play video games all day, or maybe they're I even know some I know some people, their kids are in with, say, bad crowds. They do drugs, they drink, they party, all the time though. These are real people that go through these experiences with their kids, where they're just fucking video game addicts or like drug addicts at the age of 17. Like, this is real stuff. So when the kid drops out or the kid fails, what do you think that does to a parent looking at their kid and they have no plan, they have nowhere to go, and they don't even have their diploma. They haven't even graduated. So it's like, well, what are you going to do? So imagine raising your kid up to the point of 18 years old and the kid gets out into the world with nothing. He's just, like, the kid's just a failure. They're never going to be able to get into college. They're never going to be able to get into university. They're going to be stuck at a Walmart job. And, if you want a Walmart job, then whatever makes you happy. But is that really what you want? Furthermore, is that what you want for your kid? If that's what you want, and if that's what you want if that's what you want, then, have at her. But that's good for you. You can do whatever you want. But if that's what you want for your kid, I don't know what you're doing. Because we all know that no matter how much some people love Walmart jobs, they aren't materially, unless you're the manager, they're not very successful. So don't wish that on your kid. That just doesn't make sense. But yeah, the point is, at least from my perspective, just consider it all. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. Have a plan. Have a backup. Have a backup. I can't stress that enough, because if you could defy your parents, and you can defy your friends. You can defy all their wishes. You could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But if you don't have a backup, like my college in September, if you're not going somewhere anytime soon, if you don't have a YouTube channel or a business or you don't have a side hustle that's getting you somewhere, if you don't have something, you have no reason. No reason. Nothing. You can have you can have an amazing plan. You can have your family's blessings. You can have everything else that we've talked about here. But if you don't have a backup place to go, then that's just stupid. Backup place first, then plan, then blessing. If you can't get all three, then actually, there is something to be said that blessing is 50-50. You don't always need everyone's blessing. But just morally think about that. But if you can't get a plan and a backup, don't even. Because you're not dropping out of high school to play games all day. You're not dropping out of high school to do nothing. And you're not dropping out of high school so that you can end up nowhere. Because, I don't have enough for college. I don't have enough for university. I don't have enough for whatever my side hustle is. I don't have enough YouTube. Imagine this. I dropped out for YouTube. I have 200 subscribers at the moment. That's not enough to make a living. So if I came up to my parents and said, "Mom, I have 200 subscribers. I want to leave for this." It's like, no. You get I don't know what the requirement would be, but maybe 100,000. I haven't given it enough thought. I don't know how much money you make per stuff, but if 100,000 is the limit, and come up to your mom when you get 100,000 subscribers and tell her that, then maybe you'll get it then. That's good, but don't even do I have 200 subscribers. Don't even. That won't work. So that's my perspective from a 17-year-old, almost 18. I'm almost there, but yeah. I went through a unique situation, to say the least, and I don't know how many people will watch this video and be able to say that they've been through the exact same thing. I don't really know, but if you're one of those people, I really hope this helps you a lot. Because I really could use something like this, where it was just explaining the situation, this situation. Because it's not a common situation. It's really niche, but I hope you can gain from it, whether you're in the situation or not. To be honest, just remember that whatever the case, only leave high school if you have a backup plan, the blessings of your family, and a solid thing to do in the meantime. Oh, and preferably also the opportunity to go back to school in case you need something. Because I will mention that too right before we leave, is I had the opportunity to come back to school. My family was willing to support me with that if I needed to get like a higher mark in a class, or maybe I needed another class, an upgrade, like whatever the case. They were willing to do that for me. The classes are all like 2 months each. So they were willing to have me there, have me with them while that happened. So I was pristine. I had a backup plan. I had a thing in the meantime. I had the blessings, and I also had the opportunity to come back if I needed anything. So preferably get all of that stuff. And if you're in the same situation, just review it kind of like I did. At least I hope that's what you do. You don't have to, but just take it from me. This is how it worked, and this is the best course. Talk to your parents, talk to your friends, and also talk to a guidance counselor. Because you might also just be one class away from passing. I don't know, but if that's the case, you should just do it, because that's worth so much. If you're like really, really far away from it, don't do it. Unless you want to. If you're really, really far away from it, you don't have to do it. But if you're one class away, 2 classes, maybe 3, that's not that bad. So just do it. Anyway, I'm just going on and on now. I hope that this has helped you a ton. Whatever the case may be, whether you passed high school, whether you haven't, because it's still also just a good thing to look at as to, this is a good formula for life decisions, I'd say. At least the important ones. Is you need, no matter what the decision may be, if it's risky at least, you need a backup plan. You need a thing that you're going to do in the meantime, whether it's progressing to that plan or progressing to something else. And you need blessings. You need the blessings of your family and friends. Or, well, you don't. It's more like a half, you see? It's like I'm halving that finger. It's more like a half. The blessings are half, because it's still your life. Remember that. But, yet again, you got to remember what kind of person you want to be, what kind of person you want to be to your family. You know, that's valuable too. I'm the oldest brother, so I've got to be, I don't have to be, but I'd prefer to not be the high school dropout who was one class away from diplomas, right? That wouldn't go well. Anyway, that's all. I hope this helped you a ton. Take care, my friend.